Meet Judge Rangel. She's an active judge on an El Paso, Texas district court, but she's considering her own Judge Judy style reality show as a retirement plan.
And now, on Judge Bonnie's family court.
Unfortunately, during some of her hearings that were live streamed on YouTube, she acted a little too much like a TV judge.
I'm trying to piss you off, Ms. Noyola. You pissed me off with your attitude. Sensical, that's disrespectful. It's not gonna happen under my watch, under my time, in my court.
We're going to review a couple of these hearings, and I'll explain what conduct you should expect from a judge, as well as why Judge Rangel's conduct led to her being publicly disciplined for misuse of public office. Judge Rangel's conduct over the course of 4 hearings in particular are what led to the complaints against her. These hearings occurred during COVID in 2020 and 2021 when all hearings were being conducted via Zoom and live streamed on YouTube. These hearings included 3 criminal cases and 1 civil case. In each of these hearings, Judge Rangel lost her composure and used language that us mere mortals would have been held in contempt for. She disparaged the entire district attorney's office, went on multiple lengthy diatribes, and even ridiculed a defendant's medical condition. Because all of this was live streamed on YouTube, the Court of Review watched these hearings for themselves. In their published opinion, the Court of Review said that words were not sufficient to capture the essence of Judge Rangel's actions. Here's the wild thing about this case. The Court of Review entered an order that all of these videos remain online until at least November of 2024, and even hyperlinked each YouTube video within the opinion. To say that Judge Rangel demonstrated a lack of patience, dignity, and courtesy would be an understatement. There were a lot of examples in the videos, but I can't play them all due to time. I'll put links to the full videos in the description below. However, here are some clips.
Judge. Why would you say nonsensical? That's disrespectful. Have you ever said nonsensical in other responses?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you're disrespectful to a lot of people, and that's rude and mean. And let me tell you, in this world, we don't need any more of that. We've got plenty of that. Justice. And I'm sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of it. It's not going to happen under my watch, under my time, in my court. You don't say those stupid, absolutely outrageous arguments, because I can't stand it. Because it's not fair, it's not just, it's not justice. I'm not making this up, and I'm not trying to piss you off, Ms. Noyola. You pissed me off with your attitude. Goodbye, have a good life. Figure it out. Please, that's what you should have said at the very beginning instead of pissing me off. Bye, Ms. Noyola.
Texas Judicial Canon 3B4 says, a judge shall be patient, dignified, and courteous to litigants, jurors, witnesses, lawyers, and others with whom the judge deals with in an official capacity. The Court of Review said that judges should practice what they preach when it comes to the language being used in the courtroom. Judge Rangel's repeated use of the word piss and repeated yelling in loud, angry tones at a captive audience who were not free to leave demonstrated her willful violation of this judicial canon. But that wasn't the only judicial canon that Judge Rangel was found to have violated. If the judge deciding a case holds a bias or prejudice against one of the parties, then how can that party ever hope to have a fair trial in that court? If a judge realizes they are biased or prejudiced, then they should recuse themselves so an impartial judge can decide the case. Unfortunately, Judge Rangel demonstrated on video her bias and prejudice against the entire El Paso County District Attorney's Office. The Court of Review called Judge Rangel's tone elevated, sometimes shrill, and pointed out how she was hopping in her seat as she chastised the assistant DA appearing in front of her. Let's watch the highlights.
If she had known she was facing capital murder, I guarantee you her decisions would have been different. You don't see the whole picture, and that's what makes me angry with the DA's office. Angry. Don't put the blame on the young lady who cremated it. She didn't know she was facing capital murder. Nobody did that. Yes, you did. You just said the defense and the family could have done whatever they needed to do at the time. The body was turned over to them. They could have done whatever. And those kind of arguments are just outrageous to me that I can't stand to hear it. Outrageous. And that's how you guys operate. That's how you guys operate. Outrageously. You don't operate with fairness and decency and justice. Outlandish arguments that always come out. It's just outrageous. How you guys think and how you guys dispense justice. It's outrageous. And this isn't the first time this outrageousness has been brought to my attention. This isn't the first time. This is case after case after case after case on big cases. On capital murder, on sexual assaults of children. You guys just gotta get a conviction. You don't do the right thing.
One of the fundamental bedrocks of due process requires an impartial decision maker. When a judge remains on a case, despite having bias or prejudice against a party, well, that simply erodes the constitutional principles underlying our judicial system. Texas Judicial Canon 3B5 says, "A judge shall perform judicial duties without bias or prejudice." It is pretty clear that Judge Rangel held bias and prejudice against the DA's office. But that wasn't the only party before her that she demonstrated bias and prejudice against. A defendant in a criminal case who had not been convicted and retained the presumption of innocence was suffering from some medical issue involving his groin. Whatever this issue was, it was apparently severe enough to cause both legs to be amputated. During a preliminary hearing, Judge Rangel had this to say.
I guess all I can say is this, and this might help you guys out. You know, he's having lots of really, really bad, and Mr. Shelley did tell us that, really bad medical issues. And they're all involved in the groin area. All issues of, sometimes karma's a bitch. And let me tell you, if he did it karmically, he's suffering right now. Because God hit him right in the place where it all started. Really?
Texas Judicial Canon 2A says a judge should respect and comply with the law and should act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. Never mind the fear by the defendant in that case of receiving a fair trial, but imagine the next defendant on the docket. Do you think the next defendant would have much faith in receiving a fair trial after hearing those statements? If our judiciary does not act with integrity and impartiality, then the public confidence in our courts is eroded. After 3 complaints were filed against Judge Rangel, the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct initiated an investigation. Judge Rangel appealed that commission's findings, which is what led to the Court of Review's ultimate opinion. The Court of Review found that Judge Rangel violated at least 3 judicial canons. According to the Texas Constitution, judges can only be punished for willful violations of the judicial canons. Based on a thorough review of the videos and the fact that the conduct persisted over several minutes rather than a split-second reaction, the Court of Review found that Judge Rangel intentionally misused her public office. Judge Rangel was issued a public warning, was ordered to complete 2 hours of additional education, and was ordered to undergo 2 hours of mentoring with another judge. Even though we've spent some time discussing some very public mistakes by a sitting judge, this isn't meant as any form of ridicule. I'm sure Judge Rangel regrets her conduct, and I'm sure that she used this as an opportunity to learn from her mistakes and to become a better judge. Also, as a sitting judge, she still deserves respect, and I hope that anyone appearing in front of her affords her the respect that her position warrants.